Hi gang, Rob here. It is the afternoon of 13 April 2025, coming to you today on a pretty average 59-degree spring afternoon in northeast Indiana. I am aboard the 2000 Honda VFR 800 Interceptor, and I bought some moto vlogging equipment. I've got it mostly squared away. So today we're going to do our first in a series of MotoVlog videos. I'll just be riding and talking. So let's take off and see what happens. I hope the audio's coming through okay. I'm learning the idiosyncrasies and temperamental nature of GoPro life. The video's awesome, but man, the connectivity sometimes a little interesting. So why, you may ask, am I embarking on this a new direction on the YouTube channel? Well, I've been riding for about 40 years, no, 50, with some time off to raise small children. And I've arrived at a point later in my riding life where I have some time to do it. I have some good friends with a collective stable of some pretty awesome motorcycles. So I thought we'd start making some videos. So this journey started for me at 9 years of age. I'll never forget it. 4th grade, St. Joseph Central Elementary, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Warren Whiteman had an orange KV75 trail bike for sale. Kind of a direct competitor to the CT70 Honda. But the cow was a 2-stroke, same 3-speed centrifugal clutch semi-automatic transmission. I rode that thing hard. I put it away wet. I blew head gaskets. I snapped front forks on tree stumps. It was a great learning experience. I sort of outgrew that. My second motorcycle was a gift from Uncle Butch. He found it in a building where he and my father worked. They hadn't really used, but production at the factory was increasing, and they decided to revitalize and repurpose the old carpentry shop. Back in the corner, in a heap, was a motorcycle. Butch threw it in the pickup truck. It didn't run. He brought it over to our house and had me come out and look in the back of the truck. And I saw it, a 1969 Hodaka Super Rat, 90 cc's, I believe, chrome tank, orange frame. I said, Robbie, if you can make it run, she's yours. So much to my mother's horror, about 3 days later, after soaking the carbon penetrating oil, soaking the cylinder to get it freed up, cleaning the carburetor, new air filter, new gear case oil. The Hodaka at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and several hundred kicks, it finally lit. Off down the driveway I go. much to my mother's horror. She was kind of betting on she didn't want to say no. It was a lot more motorcycle than that old KV was. But it rode. I did a couple laps. I got back to the garage. And much to my horror, well, there was some damage done. My dad had a 73 Honda CB354 in the cranberry red paint, and it was pristine. It had been parked back to back with my Hodaka. When the Hodaka fired off, there was a lot of oil where oil usually wouldn't be. Maybe a little residual in the carburetor, maybe a little bit of soaking oil still in the cylinder. It smoked a lot, and some of it wasn't smoke. It was just oil shooting directly out the tailpipe. So when I returned to the garage and I looked at my dad's beloved Honda, it was covered in black soot. And there wasn't much I could do. I mean, within moments from when I noticed what I had done, I heard my dad's car in the driveway. Yeah. He went through the house, through the kitchen. I heard the door to the garage open. And he looked at the carnage, walked down a couple steps to the garage floor, looked at me, and he said, go get cleaned up for dinner. That's all he said. So I did. I went, got cleaned up for dinner, ate dinner. My dad didn't come in for dinner. He was out in the garage cleaning his Honda. I asked my mom if I should go help him. She said, no, you better leave him alone. So I did. After supper, I went out in the garage. He had it all cleaned up. And I said, you need help? And he goes, no, I got it. And then the next thing he said was, how did she run? See, he wasn't concerned with, he wasn't concerned about the cleanliness of his beloved motorcycle. He was just proud that his 10 or 11-year-old son took that bucket of bolts non-running, brought it to life. And that really, guys, was the beginning of my love affair with motorcycles. And I've ridden for a lot of years. After the Hodaka, which I rode for a few years, then I got a driver's license. There were cars, there were more motorcycles. I never really returned to off-road riding until just a few years ago. So my journey, let's see, my first road-going motorcycle, I think it was in 1979, Kawasaki LTD 400. It's a KZ with the dressy kit, right? The year before they went to the 440, it did though have a 6-speed transmission with a gear position indicator, black with gold pinstripes. That motorcycle was followed by my first of 3 750cc Hondas. Then there was the Suzuki period, this GS 750 sandwiched between 2 850s. Then there were the Harley Davidson years, and a 79 Super Glide in metallic brown with a brown saddle colored seat that was factory in the original peanut tank. that everybody took off those years and put fat bobs on. I rode that for 3 seasons, I think. Then I think there was another Suzuki GS. Then came my period of quiet, raising 3 children, not wanting to die. So they were pretty grown up by the time I started to ride again. So there was another GS 850. And there was a Gold Wing 77. You guys remember those videos? I started riding a lot more when I had that wing, and I thought, you know, maybe something a little more dependable for the long trips. And then there was the ST 1100 that you guys have seen on the channel. And it was during the time that I owned that bike that I sort of discovered how to ride in a sporting way. You know, I spent most of my riding years on dirt bikes, UJMs, and sport tours. I was a solitary rider. I rode for enjoyment. But when I had the ST, I started to want to ride more as a craft, as a discipline. So I added my first yellow VFR 800 to the stable. And then a 2001 Honda Super Hawk BTR 1000 D-twin track bike. Kept that for a couple seasons, did a lot of work on that thing. Repairs and setup stuff. I found out I just didn't want to spend the time necessary and the money to do a lot of track days. So I sold that bike. Then when I crashed the first yellow VFR, a near fatal, I set about finding this one. Which I love. This one is set up very well. Racetech hardware in my front forks. Olin's rear. One tooth up in the back sprocket, one down in the front. And the beloved stay in tune pipe. Then things get interesting. I decided my Grail Honda was a CBR 1100XX Super Blackbird. Found one, bought it, love it. Oh, I forgot to tell you about the Suzuki DRZ 400. My crew, old men, most of us, decided there was less risk of dying if we all bought dual sports. So we did. And we're into that kind of riding as well. The DRZ 400, mine is a 2002. Denny, who's in our group, has a 2006. Since we've officially dubbed the DRZ the Chuck Norris of motorcycles, mine is Walker. Denny's is Texas Ranger. Yeah, we're really that stupid. And after a couple years on the DRZ, there was another opportunity to round out the stable. My buddy Peter took his 1990 VFR 750 for a ride in the fall last year. When he got home, he noticed that one of his carburetors was peeing on the ground. A needle and seat that were not closing. He decided he was simplifying his life and he didn't need that headache, so He asked me if I would call a mutual friend, see if he was interested. This thing is pristine. It's a museum quality VFR. 35 years old. Well, Scott didn't want it. I had drooled over it for years. I bought it. So that leaves the motorcycle stable with this yellow 2000 VFR 800, 1997 black CBR 1100XX Super Blackbird, blue and white 2002 DRZ 400, and the red, white, and blue 1990 VFR 750. So that gives you an idea of the kind of riding I do by the motorcycles that I own. I like to ride precisely, quickly, safely. And it's a skill that I try to constantly get better at. This is going to be a fun year. So the DRZ goes on off-road riding trips. The Blackbird is kind of a low volume, low hours, adrenaline rush motorcycle. Great for bikes and coffee or Taco Tuesday bike night. The VFR 750, a great motorcycle to just take for a cruise in the country after supper in the summertime. And this one, it's probably my most tuned performer, I guess I would say, for twisty riding. It's also the most miley. Gonna turn 50,000 miles next month. It's been well cared for. So this is the one that goes on most of the road riding trips to the mountains. It's kind of the one that's an extension of my body, so to speak. I dig it. Well, this is going to be kind of a long video. Sorry to ramble at you guys. The plan, there really is no plan, but tentatively, this year will be, did you see that snatchy VFR clutch? It's a thing. But anyway, my plan is to take you guys with us on some trips and do some review videos on the stable of our group. So we'll do some riding and some talking this year. Look at that old yellow Ford. Yeah. Every time I ride by here, I think, I should stop in and see if that guy wants to sell it. Okay, guys, I'm going to cut you loose. Enjoy a little seat time without yapping. Grace to you and peace, my friends, from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Remember, the word is sharp. I will talk to you soon.